The storm doesn't break the chosen, it reveals them. They tried to break you in silence because they couldn't handle your presence in the light. They threw lies like knives, hoping your spirit would bleed out before you saw the truth. But every attack they sent bounced off the armor the universe gave you, forged from your pain, your patience, and your unshakable will. So let this hit where it should. They weren't fighting you. They were fighting the force behind you. The universe chose you, and now the same force they mocked is the one making them watch you rise. Understand this. Their war was never truly with your hands. It was with your purpose. And that's a battle they were never going to win. Before we go any deeper, take a moment to like and subscribe. When you engage, you help this message reach more chosen ones like you. And each time this message is shared, it sends a signal into the algorithm and into the ether. You're not just watching, you're helping light the path for someone else who needs this reminder. You already won. Welcome, the chosen ones. Some of you don't even realize yet that the war is over because your heart is still scanning the battlefield for the next blow. But listen closely. The universe has already declared the outcome. It's done. You made it. And yes, you're still standing because you were never meant to fall. Whatever it was, your quiet endurance, your silent scream, the nights you stared at the ceiling fighting off doubt, it worked. You passed a test they didn't even know existed. You're like a locked vault they tried to crack open, not knowing you were sealed by something far greater than their ego. That's why they're angry. That's why they're twitching in your presence. Why they act confused when your light keeps rising with no source they can see. Because they don't understand chosen energy. They laughed at your silence, but now they're silenced by your presence. They underestimated your roots, but now they're choking on the fact that you bloomed anyway. This isn't karma. It's clarity. It's not revenge. It's revelation. Whatever you did, it worked. You won. It's already yours. Now walk like the universe meant for you to be seen. So here we are, standing at the edge of a truth most people will never taste. If you're still here, it's not by accident. The universe pulled you in because you're ready to remember what was already written for you. Drop the number 77 in the comments if you can feel it. That quiet certainty rising in your chest that says, it's already mine. This isn't motivation, this is confirmation. So take a breath and don't just listen, absorb. Because if you really are one of the chosen, you'll feel it in your bones. Now let's get into it step by step. Number 1. They counted you out while you were counting stars. Now the sky belongs to you. They laughed at your silence, thinking it meant surrender, not knowing the universe was loading the weapon they couldn't see. They watched from the shadows, hoping to witness your fall, not knowing you were never falling. You were calculating, quiet like the eye of a storm before it swallows a city. They mistook your stillness for defeat, because they've never seen what it looks like when the universe builds a weapon in the shape of a soul. They studied your collapse, took notes on your suffering, mocked your silence, whispered in corners about your breakdowns like they were the final chapter. But let this burn through every lie they told themselves. You were not collapsing. You were constructing. While they were entertained by your struggle, you were in the middle of engineering a resurrection that would blind them. What they thought was your end was only you stepping back to reload. And now you rose, not out of nowhere, but out of everything they tried to bury you with. You were never the problem. You were the plan. The universe never abandoned you. It aligned for you. And while they were busy playing games with the system, you were syncing with the force that designed the system itself. That's why they can't understand your comeback, because to them, it looks like a glitch in the code. But this isn't a glitch. This is what it looks like when chosen energy activates in full. So why are you still doubting it? Why are you questioning the very power they feared in you all along? Stop acting like you're one of them. You're not. You were chosen not because you were perfect, but because you were prepared, not by comfort, but by chaos. You were forged in situations they wouldn't have survived 5 minutes in. And that's what scares them. That you did survive. That you came back quieter, sharper, heavier with purpose. That now you're walking with something they can't copy, can't buy, and sure as hell can't stop. They saw your silence as surrender, not realizing it was strategy. You weren't broken. You were breaking through. And all the while they were talking, doubting, celebrating what they thought was your fault, the universe was already rewriting your outcome. You want a metaphor? Here's one. They were measuring your coffin while you were blueprinting your throne. And now they're shocked you're sitting on it. Chosen ones, hear this and let it snap something awake inside you. You were never outnumbered. You were just out of sight, hidden, protected, covered. They couldn't see what was happening in the dark, because the universe only reveals its plans when it's too late for the enemy to stop them. And now that it's your time, they can't unsee it. You've become the storm they thought would destroy you. They mocked your pain. And now that pain has become your platform. They celebrated your silence. And now that silence has become your sound. And still some of you are walking like the verdict's not in. Like the win isn't real. Like you need their permission to carry what the universe already handed you. Snap out of it. You're not under attack anymore. You're under confirmation. They lost. You won. It's already yours. The universe doesn't rewind victory. It seals it. You think your doubts are humility, but they're disrespect. Stop doubting the power that kept you alive. Stop acting like you got lucky. You didn't get lucky. You got aligned. They were trying to edit your story while the universe was carving it into stone. What you carry terrifies them. Not just your light, but your endurance, your refusal to disappear, your ability to suffer in silence and rise without spectacle. That's why they talk. That's why they mimic. That's why they stalk your energy and try to wear it like a trend. But the truth is, no matter how many times they rehearse your role, the script doesn't respond to them, because it was never written for them. They played with fire thinking it was a game, not knowing the fire was sent to test you, not burn you. And now that you're walking through flames like they're made of air, they finally realize you were the fire all along. So walk like it's already yours, because it is. Speak like you've already won, because you did. And if they're still watching, let them. Every step you take now is a sermon their soul can't unhear. Number 2, you stopped clapping for them, and that's when they heard thunder. The day you stopped waiting for their applause was the day the universe started echoing your name in rooms they'll never enter. They wanted you desperate, hungry for their approval, thirsty for their praise, addicted to their claps like a dog waiting for treats. But you outgrew that game, and when you did, everything changed. Not because you finally got what you wanted, but because you finally realized you didn't need it in the first place. You didn't win because they approved. You won when you stopped caring whether they even noticed. You stopped begging for credit in rooms where the lights were never meant to shine on you. And that right there is what made the ground shift. You removed their opinion from your throne room, and suddenly your power had no leash. You weren't built to be celebrated by the crowd. You were built to shake the ground they walk on, silently, steadily, without needing the echo of their applause to validate your steps. The universe didn't choose you for decoration. It chose you for disruption. And they know that now. Oh, they know. That's why the silence around your name got louder after your elevation. That's why they scroll past your wins like their screen just glitched. That's why they avoid mentioning your rise while secretly taking notes on how you did it. Because nothing hits the ego harder than someone who doesn't need permission to shine. You didn't win in spite of their silence. You won because of it. Their doubt was the fuel. Their absence was the blessing. Their silence became the background noise to your masterpiece. And now that it's finished, they want to act like they were part of the process. Let them choke on the truth. You moved in silence not because you were unsure, but because your victory was never supposed to be a performance. You see, real chosen ones don't need a stage. They are the stage. Every step you took in the dark lit the path for someone else, and you didn't even stop to ask for a round of applause. That's what makes you dangerous. That's what terrifies them. Because how do you kill something that doesn't need outside approval to stay alive? They don't know what to do with someone who doesn't need an audience. Someone who kept showing up even when no one clapped, who kept creating even when no one watched, who kept becoming even when everyone left. Number 3, you broke their game by refusing to play it. Now they're lost without you on the board. They wanted you in the race so they could trip you.
Number 5, you didn't just break curses, you turned them into warnings. They thought they were placing a curse on you. But all they did was sign their name on a lesson the universe would use to elevate you. This wasn't just your battle, don't get it twisted. You weren't just up against your own pain, your own trauma, your own doubts. You were standing in the ring with centuries of silence, fear, and spiritual debt passed down through your bloodline like an inheritance of chains. But the universe didn't just place you in the storm, it built you for it. And when it came time to face those demons, you didn't flinch, you didn't run, you stood still. And you made the curse blink first. They underestimated you because they were too busy watching your surface. They didn't know your soul had been called to break patterns so old they didn't even have a name anymore. You weren't just healing, you were reprogramming reality itself. The pain that ran in your family ran into you, and for the first time in generations, it lost. You were the line in the sand, the no more, the it ends here. That's why it felt so heavy. That's why your isolation was so intense. That's why the attacks didn't let up. You weren't just dragging yourself forward, you were dragging the weight of every silent ancestor who never had a voice, every broken cycle that never met resistance until you. And yes, they tried to make you pay for carrying that power. The ones who were comfortable in their curses, who benefited from the dysfunction, who thrived in the chaos. They came for you because your healing exposed their wounds, your elevation threatened their illusions, your peace shook their foundation. They didn't just doubt you. They resented you, because to them your freedom looked like betrayal, your growth looked like arrogance, your strength made them feel small. Number 6, of you took every hit like a curse, then turned it into a blueprint they'll never decode. They thought they were wounding you. But every strike was just the universe drawing up your divine architecture. Let them talk about how they hurt you. Let them sit in circles and joke about the betrayal, the backstabbing, the setups, and the sabotage. Let them smirk at the chaos they threw your way, because while they were busy watching you break, they didn't realize something deeper was happening. You were learning. You weren't just getting hit, you were collecting data. You were mapping pressure points. You were decoding patterns. Every time they betrayed you, your intuition sharpened. Every time you were left bleeding, your soul recorded it like sacred text. A pain didn't destroy you, it taught you. It handed you keys that only come from surviving what should have ended you. That's what they don't get. They thought they were throwing chars at you to confuse you. But the chosen don't go numb, we go deeper. We don't react, we read. And while they were hoping you'd explode, you evolved. Quietly, coldly, cleanly. You became an architect in your own storm. You took the betrayal and turned it into blueprint. You turned manipulation into foresight. You turned rejection into self-worth. You stopped needing to explain yourself. You started seeing through people without asking questions. You no longer respond emotionally to what you used to beg to understand, because now you see, and that terrifies them. They don't know how to move around you anymore. What used to trigger you now exposes them. What used to drain you now fuels your fire. You stopped taking things personally and started treating everything like information. Cold, clear, calculated information. That's the level of wisdom pain handed you. That's why your presence is surgical now. You know who you are, and more importantly, you know who they are. Not because they told you, but because their betrayal revealed it. Their actions gave you X-rays of their soul. Their disloyalty gave you blueprints to every trap they thought you'd fall into. You weren't just walking through pain, you were being trained by it. You were in a classroom disguised as a battlefield, and now you move differently. If this message resonated with you, if you felt that quiet certainty rising in your chest, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more reminders that you are indeed one of the chosen. Share this with someone who needs to hear it today. Your engagement helps this message reach those who are ready to step into their power. Thank you for being here, chosen one. Your journey is just beginning.